Hey dudes, what's up and welcome to the channel. I'm just some guy. If you're new here, welcome, welcome. If you're not new here, well, welcome back. So today today's video is about catfishing. And this morning while I was doing some work and stuff like that, I usually like to let YouTube play over here on the TV and stuff like that. And it was just on like random stuff, right? And so it came across this show called Catfished, and it's about like people who get scammed by catfishers on dating sites and stuff like that, and end up sending like these fake accounts, like their entire life savings and stuff like that. And I was looking at it and I was like, I go on to dating sites every so often, and see what's out there. And one of the things that I've learned like a long, long time ago, also, I'm going to trim up this beard, I swear. I think I said that like a couple of videos ago, but I just haven't gotten around to it. It looks like my yard, and I need to shape this out. So I'm working on like letting it grow, and then I'm gonna try to like shape it a little bit finally. But we'll see what happens. I have to at least clean up a little bit because I've got to go to a work all hands thing next week, which will have an update on my promotion and stuff like that. So I'm taking a new job at work. But back to what I was talking about is so like a long time ago, I realized, and this is always something that like my dad told me, taught me, and like really kind of enforced in me. And granted, I had to learn this the hard way a couple of times, but if it's too good to be true, most of the time it's not true. So I was watching this video and I'm like looking at this and I'm like, look, man, I understand, that you're like some older dude, you're lonely and stuff like that. But if some like absolute like 11 out of 10 starts messaging me on like a dating site, like I get an OK Cupid message and it's like an absolute just like 11 out of 10, like I understand what I'm working with, and I'm pretty sure that that's too good to be true. And I don't understand how people can fall into this trap. I've always thought, like, if you wanted to scam people, if you really wanted to catfish people and, like, really scam them on, like, dating sites, wouldn't you just go for, like, a moderately attractive, like, not the hottest girl in the world, but, like, somebody that, like, a normal person would be like, yeah, I can see this like working out. Like they're moderately attractive, and then just use Chat GPT to like write up something that like, like let's say you want to go for a target demographic, right? Like I see a lot of, like, I was watching that show and the chick was like, the scammer was like, oh, I love video games and I love anime and stuff, like in Dungeons and Dragons, and this person's like, a straight up like 11 out of 10. It ended up being some like super influencer, like model OnlyFans person. And not only that, but like you live in the day and age where you could just like reverse image search somebody. Like if it seems sus, like how do you fall for this? Like I see these, I was watching this and the whole time I'm just like, how did you fall for this catfish scam? Like I don't understand. But then again, I've also seen videos of like women falling for like literal like Brad Pitt messaging them on Facebook and asking them for their life savings because Brad Pitt was in the hospital and somehow his accounts got locked. But like I've always thought about that. I'm like, if I get like a message from somebody who's just way super out of my league, I'm just like, this is too sus. Like not only that, but then like, you're talking to them and I don't know, maybe it's just the way I am, but like, I sniff test things. And then like the moment that they're like, hey, by the way, this month's rent is a little bit behind. I'm like, skirt, I'm out, because I know how this is going to end up, because I'm going to be like, oh, let me help you out. And then they got you hook, line, and sinker, right? But like, I want to go back to what I was saying. Like, if the scammers just used like a moderately like normal looking like account, I feel like they would get more, and it would be easier to manage it, right? Although I guess like at the same time, like everybody goes for, the 1% of attractive people, because everybody like, tries to shoot way above their belt weight. Um and so I guess I don't know, it'd be interesting to see like the statistics on that. Like, you know, if you were to start scamming people as a catfisher with like, let's say like, we don't want to go like a 4 out of 10, right? Like, let's say like a 6 out of 10. Like, I think most people, if they saw like a 6 out of 10 that messaged them and was like a little bit nerdy, into that stuff, it would probably be more reasonable in your head to be like, oh, well, okay, maybe, you know, versus like a literal like super giga hot Instagram model that's like, oh, I want a weird recluse dude that like never leaves his house and has 2 dogs and doesn't shave his beard and probably would just talk to you all day about like One Piece and stuff like that. So you know I don't know. I guess like it would be weird to like, have a conversation with one of those people and be like, just why? Because like as I was watching the show too, it's like there's so many red flags, and that's like, oh, buy me an airplane ticket, and they don't show up at the airport, and then it's like, oh well, I missed my flight, and it's like, oh okay, well like you might probably should have told me that. It just seems like it's so weird to me that they would just be like not sussed out by like any of that stuff. But it was a weird show, and like I watched like a couple more episodes while I was like working on some spreadsheet stuff, which I wrote a CSV to JSON converter program, which I was pretty proud of myself. I've been working a little bit more on like learning my programming skills, which I'm going to have to really up my programming skills with the new position, but that'll be probably another, well, that'll be a video when I officially like get into that position. But I'm yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. I'm pretty excited for that. But I figured I'd just let you guys know I saw that. I thought it was kind of funny, and I was thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, you gotta fish with the bait that you can use. But I guess like they used the right bait because they got like $20,000 or $30,000 out of like a couple of those dudes, and I'm just like, man, after like the first couple hundred, like what are you even doing with yourself? I mean, at that point, just pay somebody to like pretend to be your girlfriend. Like, it'd probably end up being cheaper in the long run. But it is what it is, man. I hope you guys have been doing pretty good. Things have been kind of crazy real recently, like just in general. But it is what it is. I'm going to be in New Orleans next week, so I'm pretty excited for that, going down to New Orleans for a work thing. And so that'll be kind of cool. It'll be like the literal first time I've flown since like pre-COVID, right? So little not nervous or anything like that, but like I said, I just haven't really. The last time I went anywhere distance wise, I just drove. So because I'm Midwesterner, and if it's less than 6 hours, you might as well just drive, right? But anyways, I hope you guys have been doing good, and I hope everything is going good for you. And it's a beautiful day out. I'm so happy that it's getting down into like the 60s, low 60s during the day. But I'll catch you guys later. Take it easy, homies. Peace out.